Today we are going to show you how to set up all of the necessary screens for a new employee. This can be a confusing process as there are so many different areas in employee maintenance, and you may be wondering which ones do I have to enter and which ones are voluntary. Through this video, we will show you all of the mandatory sections that need to be filled out in employee maintenance. Let's log on to ProFund Accounting, select Payroll, then Employee Maintenance. Now select New, enter the employee's employee number, their last name, first name, their address. Next, enter their birth date, marital status, and social security number. The email address is not mandatory except for those that participate in direct deposit. Also, for right now, the passcode and last set cells are not mandatory. They will become mandatory once the new employee time card module is ready. As you can see, there are quite a few tabs at the bottom. The personnel info, insurance info, overtime info, and events have nothing on them that is mandatory, but can serve as a great place to house the employee's pertinent information. The one screen that has mandatory information on it is the Employment Info tab. Here, you need to put in the appropriate pay code, such as hourly or salaried. The rate of pay in dollars and cents should be entered, and also the annual number of pays. Please note, if your new worker is an election worker, it is absolutely mandatory that you click the election worker box under the specialty flags area. Once you have set the employee up as an election worker and have paid them, you may not remove the check mark from the election worker box because a special set of taxation rules are in place for election workers. Now you can click Save. Okay, now let's look at the tabs at the top. On the bank screen, there is nothing that is mandatory. On the Deductions tab, you will need to add deductions for federal, state, FICA, and Medicare. Please keep in mind that for your entity, you may also need to add deductions for city taxes and any other mandatory deductions. To add a new deduction, click on New, use the down arrow next to the deduction code and find the appropriate deduction. Let's use Medicare, which for this example is E. Next, put an A in the status box to make it active. For Medicare, you don't need to put in an amount since this is automatically calculated behind the scenes. Then hit Save, and your new deduction code is saved for this new employee. You need to set up the FICA deduction the same way. Now, let's try adding state taxes. Again, select New, then find the deduction code for the state taxes. Enter A for active status. Next, locate the box labeled Exemptions and enter the number of exemptions the employee has requested on their W-4. Note that your label for this box may be slightly different. We will enter 1 as exemptions. You can also add any additional amount the employee may have requested or an additional percentage. We'll use $10 for an additional amount. Once that is complete, simply click on Save and your deduction is set up. You will need to set up your federal tax in the same manner. For the last two tabs, third-party pay and dependents, there is nothing that is mandatory. You have now set up a new employee with the mandatory screens. As you can see, there are lots of extra bits of information that you can enter to keep pertinent information on your employees. The use of these is up to each entity.